Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by dense woods, lived a beautiful girl named Asil, famously known as the girl in the red cloak. Her beloved grandmother had gifted her a splendid red cloak made of velvet, and she wore it everywhere she went. Asil was kind-hearted and clever, always eager to help others. Every week, she would visit her grandmother, who lived alone in a small chalet in the middle of the forest. One day, her mother handed her a basket filled with food and drink. "Go to your grandmother's, Asil. But remember to stay on the path. The forest is full of dangers, especially wolves," her mother warned. Confidently, Asil replied, "Don't worry, Mum. I'll be careful." With a cheerful song and the radiant red cloak glistening under the sun, Asil set off on her journey. As she walked through the forest, a cunning wolf spotted her from behind the trees. Hungry and sly, the wolf devised a plan to capture both Asil and her grandmother. Approaching her in a friendly manner, he said, "Good morning, lovely. Where are you heading on this fine day?" Asil smiled politely and said, "I'm off to see my grandmother to check on her and give her this basket full of food." Pretending to be interested, the wolf inquired, "And where does your grandmother live?" Asil replied without suspecting a thing, "In the small cottage at the end of the path, next to the big oak tree." The wolf quickly thanked her and suggested, "Why don't you pick some beautiful flowers for her? She'll be delighted." Enchanted by the idea, Asil began gathering colorful flowers, while the wolf dashed towards the grandmother's home. Arriving at the grandmother's, the wolf knocked gently on the door, mimicking Asil's voice. "Grandmother, it's me, Asil." Delighted, the grandmother thought it was her granddaughter and opened the door. But before she realized it, the wolf pounced on her and locked her in a small cupboard. Then he dressed in her clothes and lay in bed, waiting for Asil to arrive. With a bouquet in hand, Asil continued her journey. Knocking on the door, she called out, "Grandmother, it's me, Asil." The wolf, disguising his voice, replied, "Come in, dear. The door is open." Entering the cottage, Asil sensed something amiss. Her grandmother seemed entirely different. She approached and asked, "Grandmother, why are your eyes so big?" The wolf responded, "To see you better, my dear." Then she asked, "And why are your ears so big?" The wolf replied, "To hear you better." Finally, she hesitantly asked, "And why are your teeth so sharp?" Leaping up, the wolf declared in his true voice, "To eat you better." Frightened, Asil was quick and clever. She tossed the basket into the wolf's face and rushed to the door, calling for help. A nearby woodsman heard her cries and rushed to the cottage. Seeing the wolf, he raised his axe and threatened, "Leave at once, or your end will be near." Terrified, the wolf fled into the depths of the forest, never to be seen again. The woodsman searched for the grandmother and found her unharmed in the cupboard. Asil thanked the woodsman profoundly and said, "I learned a valuable lesson today. To always be cautious and never trust strangers." Asil and her grandmother returned to their usual lives, wiser and more careful each time, they went into the forest. And so, everyone lived safely and happily ever after. Reminded that kindness must always be paired with cleverness and caution. Lessons learned: don't trust strangers easily. Wisdom and intelligence can save you from difficult situations. Courage and mutual assistance between people make good always triumph.
If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to our channel. We have more diverse and educational stories waiting for you. Thank you for watching.